Today we're going to be talking about main energy levels and sublevels. Along with that, we're going to be talking about electron configuration. To start off, we're going to be talking about main energy levels. So main energy levels, or what are called principal energy levels, are discrete energy levels that electrons are located in. And what discrete in this case means is that the electrons only exist within these energy levels and not in between. Next, we have sublevels, and these are smaller divisions of the main energy level, and they are assigned the letters S, P, D, and F based on the shape of the atomic orbitals that they contain. And atomic orbitals are the region of space where there is a high probability of finding an electron. Now we're going to be talking about these sublevels and atomic orbitals in more depth. So like said before, there are 4 different sublevels. There is the S, P, D, and F sublevel. So the S sublevel only contains a single S atomic orbital, which means that it can hold a maximum of 2 electrons. And like seen here, the S atomic orbital is a spherical shape. And next, we're talking about the P sublevel. It is composed of 3 p atomic orbitals, meaning that it can hold a maximum of 6 electrons. And as seen here, the p atomic orbitals are in the shape of dumbbells. And for the D sublevel, it contains 5 d atomic orbitals. F sublevel contains 7 f atomic orbitals. The shape of these 2 atomic orbitals are not required for the IB curriculum, so I'll not be talking about those. And the D sublevel can hold a maximum of 10 electrons, and the F sublevel can hold a maximum of 14. As you might have figured by now, regardless of the type of atomic orbital, S, P, D, or F, a single atomic orbital can only hold a maximum of 2 electrons. So that is why when the S sublevel only has 1 S atomic orbital, it can only hold a maximum of 2 because 1 times 2 gives you 2. For the P sublevel, you have 2 times 3, which is 6, D, 5 times 2, which is 10, and F, 7 times 2, which is a maximum of 14 electrons. If you're trying to find the maximum number of electrons that a main energy level can hold, you would use the formula on the side here, 2n to the power of 2, with n being the number of the main energy level. So this table here shows a quick summary of everything that I just talked about, and it's very useful, so you might want to take a screenshot of this and put it into your notes. Now we're going to talk about electron configuration. Electron configuration is something that shows the arrangement of electrons of a particle. It shows in which main energy level and sublevels these electrons are in and how many electrons there are in that region. So when talking about electron configuration, there are 3 principles that must be followed. The first one being Aufbau's principle, which states that electrons fill the atomic orbital of the lowest energy level first, which means that the S orbital will be filled in before the P, before the D, and finally before the F. The next principle is Pauli exclusion principle, which states that no 2 electrons can have exactly the same configuration, meaning that each atomic orbital can only hold 2 electrons with opposite spins. Opposite spin meaning that if, for example, one is spinning up, the other one must be going down. The third one is Hund's rule, which states that when we have degenerate orbitals, which are atomic orbitals that have equal energy levels, then each orbital is filled with a single electron before being doubly occupied. Now we're going to look at energy level diagrams. Within a given main energy level, the order of energy of the sublevels, like mentioned before, goes from S to P to D to F, meaning that S has the least amount of energy and F has the greatest amount of energy. There's something to note, which is the fact that there is an overlap in energy between the 3D and 4S sublevels, meaning that the 4S sublevel is of lower energy in comparison to the 3D sublevel, and it will fill up before the 3D sublevel, and during ionization, electrons will be removed from the 4S sublevel before the 3D sublevel. Now let's take a closer look at these diagrams over here, as they give you a clearer visual representation of what we just talked about. So if we look at this first diagram on the left, we see that the y-axis is energy, and like seen, the 4s or S sublevel has the lowest amount of energy, and for F, the F sublevel has the highest. And now if we took a look at these two diagrams, we can see that the main energy levels starting from 1 has the lowest energy and 6 has the highest energy. And we can also see a growing trend of there being an increasing amount of energy between the different sublevels, with S being the lowest and F being the greatest, although it's not shown here, so D is the greatest. And as we can see in this diagram as well, there is an overlap in energy between the 4S and the 3D. As you can see that 4S sublevel has slightly less energy than the 3D sublevel. But apart from those two, all the other sublevels with a higher main energy level will have greater energy than all of the sublevels of the prior main energy level. So for example, 5S has higher energy than all of the sublevels within the fourth main energy level. So this is the order of the filling of the sublevels from 1s through to 6s. So this is the electron configuration notation, with the number in front being the main energy level. The letter next to it is the sublevel, which can be S, P, D, or F. And this little number on top, the superscript, shows the number of electrons within that sublevel. So for example, if I were to write the electron configuration for oxygen, I'd write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. And the reason why the 3p sublevel is not full with 6 electrons and only 4 is because of the fact that oxygen has a valency of 2. So that was the full electron configuration. But for atoms or ions of higher atomic numbers, we can write a condensed electron configuration, which uses the symbol of a noble gas to represent the core electrons, and you just write out the rest of the valence electrons. So in the table here on the side, it shows you the electron configuration for 3 example noble gases. So for example, if I were to write a condensed electron configuration for magnesium, I would write the symbol for neon, and then I would write out the 3s2 to represent the 2 valence electrons. However, there is 2 exceptions to this, and it is copper and chromium. So in red, we have the expected configuration with the 4s shell being filled up first, like said before. But for copper and chromium, they actually only have 1 electron in the 4s atomic orbital, and their other electron actually goes and fills the 3D atomic orbital. The last thing that we're going to talk about is orbital diagrams, which are also known as arrow and box diagrams. So for these diagrams, we use boxes to represent the atomic orbitals and single-headed arrows to represent the electrons. So according to the Pauli exclusion principle, we can only put 2 arrows in each box, and these must be facing opposite directions to represent opposite spin. So one is pointing up and the other is pointing down. So if we take a look at the orbital diagram for nitrogen, you can see that we have 7 electrons in total because nitrogen has the atomic number of 7, and we have the 1s and 2s orbitals filled with 2 single-headed arrows facing in opposite directions. And as you can see in the p orbital, in the 2p orbital, we have 1 arrow in each of the p orbitals, and they are all facing the same direction, and we only put 1 in each of these orbitals because of Hund's rule, which tells us that all of the orbitals must be filled before we can put another one in. And now if we take a look at the orbital diagram for oxygen, which is quite similar to that of nitrogen, except for it has 1 more electron, as it has a greater atomic number by 1. And as you can see in the 2p orbital, we have one more electron, but it's in one of the p orbitals and it's facing the opposite direction. So that is all the content for today. I hope this was helpful, and if there are any questions that you have, please put them in the comments. And also please check out some of the other videos that we have for IB Chemistry, IB Physics, IB Bio, along with the videos that we have for IGCSE Coordinated Science. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.